Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about fanboys. They take shit way too seriously. Let me just get this out of the way right now. When I say fanboy, I'm implicitly including fangirls right along with them. I know that it's not a gender-neutral term, but I use it like one because, to me, the defining characteristics of a fanboy have nothing to do with genitalia or gender identity. Now then, the object of a fanboy's obsession could be really just about anything. A superhero, a series of fantasy novels, a niche subgenre of music, a witty, devastatingly handsome YouTube personality. Whatever it is, to the fanboy, it's not just something they enjoy because it happens to line up with their personal tastes. It's some deep, heavy, super important shit. And if you happen to not share their opinion of how consequential and life-changing it is, well, that's probably just due to a character flaw on your part, namely your inability to recognize what's fucking good. They're preoccupied with canon. Quick question. Given the fact that Ensign Chekhov, as depicted in the rebooted J.J. Abrams-directed Star Trek films, appears to be several years older than his original Prime Universe counterpart would have been during that same period of time, can we even reasonably assume that these two are the same person? The correct answer is who fucking cares? And while I'm on the subject, do you remember when DC Comics used to publish stories devoted to telling the fantastic adventures of exciting characters rather than incessant fussy continuity maintenance? Me neither. They're nerd fundamentalists. The sorts of material fanboys are typically drawn to, sci-fi, comic book superheroes, high fantasy, are open to an even greater degree of interpretation than many other types of fiction. For instance, everyone who's a really big Batman fan has their Batman. And that might be Batman as depicted in Batman the Animated Series, or in the Christopher Nolan films, or it might be a unique, amalgamated version found only in their own imagination. But the difference between someone like that and a fanboy is that to the fanboy, his or her personal Batman is the objectively correct version, and he will bitterly reject any other version that contradicts it. So instead of complaining about a given film, let's say, by saying that it has stylistic problems, or it's lazily plotted, or it has unconvincing performances, a fanboy might instead harp on perceived inaccuracies. In other words, that's not how I would have done it, so it sucks. The fanboy motto. They feel entitled. Fanboy entitlement isn't just about feeling that they are owed something by the creators of their favorite films, TV shows, comics, whatever, although that's certainly part of it, and that feeling is what drives the cycle of resentment and disappointment that powers the whole fanboy way of life. But there's also fanboy entitlement in the sense of feeling ownership over the properties of which they are fans, as though the creators of their favorite franchises should tailor them exclusively to meet and service their expectations. Which brings me to number 5. They ruin things for non-fanboys. Not all of us feel the need to list Jedi as our religion on the census form. Some of us just like Star Wars. And if Episode 7 turns out to be a well-crafted, enjoyable, exciting space adventure, then we'll probably like it whether Mara Jade, whoever the fuck that is in it or not. And I know that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man has biological web shooters and not mechanical ones, and I don't give a shit. And I also don't give a shit that there are numerous inconsistencies between Richard Donner's Superman films and Bryan Singer's Superman Returns, even though it's supposed to be a sequel to them. And you know what? I liked the explanation for why the Klingons in the original Star Trek look different than the Klingons in the movies and The Next Generation better when there wasn't one. But having said all of that, I don't want to be too hard on the fanboys, because even though they do get on my nerves sometimes, at least they're neurotically obsessed about shit like Stargate or Doctor Who or all that Hobbit shit, instead of Ron Paul or Ayn Rand. Except for the libertarian fanboys. And man, fuck those guys. They are the worst. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.